How big is really too big? Welcome back to the workshop. Today we're going to be discussing a little bit about these anvils that I have stacked up here. I have this wider range of anvils here, anywhere from 300 kilos all the way down to 0.5. You might ask, why do I have so many anvils and why do I have such a big anvil sitting here? I'm going to explain that to you in this video. Starting with the one from the top here, we're going to start off with this 0.5 kilogram anvil. You might think this is a toy. Well, this was kind of a gift, and anvils like this and the one underneath of it are usually collectibles. The second anvil here is actually a jeweler's anvil. This one is actually in use. I use this one for making small, tiny little items that need very fine feeling fingertip kind of skills, and I don't want to use my larger type anvils for that because they're not suitable for that kind of work. We're gonna get right back to the business over here with this second anvil. Like I explained earlier, this is a jeweler's anvil. This type of anvil is used for doing small work with fine wire, making chainmail, for example. I don't do that because I don't have the patience for that kind of work. However, my friend Wesley, who's probably watching this video, he's really good at that. He can sit down for hours and make chainmail all day long. So a couple weeks ago, a friend of mine that works at a recycling place, he calls me up and say, "Hey, I got an anvil for you," and he sends me a picture. An anvil like this will run about 150 bucks to 200 bucks depending on the shape. This one's in fair condition. It was pretty rusty when I got it. It was just laying in the water, but it doesn't have any surface rust damage. There's a small corner of the corner here that's worn down, but this anvil in general is in very good shape, and I got it for a very small amount of money, so it was worth the while to go pick this up. This is something I want to hang on to. These are getting harder and harder to find. The anvil prices are skyrocketing here, and it's getting hard to find a decent size anvil that doesn't cost you an arm and a leg, and maybe even 2 arms and 2 legs. So this anvil right here, this is actually my traveling workshop anvil. This is a 50 kilogram Pettinghouse German style anvil. I really like this one. It's got a perfect amount of weight. Now if you're starting out blacksmithing and you're probably asking yourself, well, what size anvil do I really need? I'd like to really get into blacksmithing. What's a good anvil? What's a good size anvil? So my recommendation is get something between 50 and 70 kilograms, which is about 100 or 140 pounds. That is adequate for almost all the jobs that you're going to be doing as a beginning blacksmith. Even later on in some immediate jobs or some of the larger jobs would probably be just fine with an anvil that size. You want to make sure it's in excellent condition, that the hardened surface area of the anvil isn't cracked anywhere, because it could actually cause a splintering explosion and really injure you if you have an anvil that's damaged in that manner and you go to hit it with the hammer. Those pieces can come flying off, and I have seen cases of that happening. It's very dangerous. So you want to make sure your anvil is in great condition. The surface is flat. The corners are pretty sharp. There's no chips out of this one. This one's been restored. So this anvil here is perfect for traveling, or for someone possibly if you were to have your shop set up where you would constantly be moving your stuff in and out of the way again because you can't permanently set up your work area to stay the way you'd like to have it. If you're not already a subscriber to the channel, it would really help if you click the subscribe button, ring the bell, and click all notifications. That way YouTube will know you'd like to see more of my videos and you won't miss out when I post new content. Last but not least, the masterpiece of this workshop. This anvil weighs 300 kilograms. There's a chain wrapped around it, and it's nailed to the wood stump, and the wood stump is actually sunk in the ground about 40 centimeters to increase the stability of this massive piece of metal right here sitting on this wood stump. So this is not by any means at all going to rock back and forth and fall off. So I made sure this is going to be very stable. Nice sound to it. Well, you're probably wondering right now, you said, well, you just said 70 kilograms is adequate. Why do you need such a monster anvil in your workshop if that's going to be fine? The truth is you really don't need it. But physically, if you're doing a lot of work all day, all of the time, and some larger jobs require a greater amount of mass below the piece of work and then the hammer from the top, that will equal out all your force back into the workpiece. So working with a bigger anvil actually means my hammer blows move more metal, because less of the energy I apply to the workpiece gets lost below the workpiece. It's all returned up into the workpiece, And that's what the advantages of such a large anvil are. Now, it's very heavy. You can't move it around without some kind of equipment, machinery, or hoists. And 4 people are not going to lift this. So this is definitely one of the disadvantages of having such a large piece of metal in the middle of your workshop. You're not going to move it out of the way, and it's not going anywhere unless you have some kind of equipment that's going to be suitable for lifting this type of weight. You want to set your anvil on your workshop that when you're standing up straight, your hammer ends right about where your waist is, where the hammer drops to 90 degrees from your waist. That's about perfectly where your perfect work height is. I've seen a lot of people work like this and over their anvil, and they're just killing their back. It's very important to make sure that the anvil is at the correct height so that you don't hurt your back. That's going to be something that can ruin your entire blacksmithing career in a heartbeat. So that's a very important factor to consider, especially for younger blacksmiths. It's very important, no matter how big the anvil is that you obtain, you want to make sure you're standing on a flat surface. You don't want to have the anvil down too low because you'll be working with your back bent over, and you don't want to have it up too high, and it will also increase the risk of damaging your eyes or pieces of metal coming off in your face. So you don't want to do that as well. That's why that's important to have your anvil at the correct height. All I wanted to talk about with you today on anvils, and I wanted to show you a little bit about the anvils that I have, the anvils that I work with and I've acquired over the day and ages. So really happy you guys tuned in today. Don't forget to ring that bell and click the like button, and leave a bunch of comments in the comment section so we all can have a great discussion down there below the video. Now, anvils during the Viking Age would have looked very similar to this one. There were finds in the Mastermere toolbox. That's a very popular find that I really enjoy studying a lot. Very similar to this shape. And then there's also one that's a peak, like a bill hook. You would just imagine something like this, and then a kind of like a round miniature size horn for doing rounding work on your metal. And then there was also a stump anvil found in some of the locations that had a small bill peak on it, like a miniature horn as well. So there's just some of the types that are popular in the regular small sediments at the Viking Age. That'll be all for today. Thank you for tuning in. Stay safe, and see you soon.